Hello. How's it going?
Shem, how are you?
I'm good. So I heard you're not going to Oxnard this year?
They won't let us in. I haven't gone for 2 years, but
Yeah.
there's a new rule that they won't let you rent you short term. They don't allow people by the side that we went on. There's no short term rentals, only long term. So they won't rent it out.
Why? You know why?
Well,
They're anti-Semites because they know Jews. Yeah, they know it.
Yeah,
That's
disgusting.
terrible.
It's disgusting. Besides, it'll be probably very cold this year.
It's early. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're staying home.
Yeah, with all my gangs coming in.
That's
we have
nice.
we have a whole. In fact, they're coming in tonight. My grandchildren with their children, the 5 Greek grandchildren, coming in. So tonight they're coming in from Israel. They came from Israel.
You have room for everybody? You have a place for everyone to stay?
No, I was going to send them over to you also to have.
Come on down.
Okay, yeah, right. That's right. We're all family anyhow,
Of course, you're Levium,
Yeah.
Kohanim, it's all the same.
Yeah. You're a Cohen, I'm a Levi, so we're all the same family. We're related.
We're like kissing cousins.
Oh yeah, right. So that's good. We're excited about it. I've seen my little one, my youngest great grandchild. My wife is crazy over her because she's named the first child named after her mother. So she's pretty excited about that.
That's nice. That's nice.
She's about a year and a half, and then Hashem.
Where do they live?
They live in Yerushalayim.
Yerushalayim, very nice.
Yeah, that's good. So we're excited. Yes, she has five little ones. So I actually big with the oldest is 13. And then she got 3 boys and 2 girls.
Beautiful.
So and then the Kesslers are coming on Thursday, so they have 6. So we'll have about 15 or 17 people in the house. We'll crowd it. You know what? By Nazir, a woman can make an edit, but it's a losa says she has to keep her word. So it's an essa that the husband has that he can break it against an essa.
It's the reshus. The husband has the right to be made for the nedorim of his wife. Period. It's not it does essay derech say is when you have 2 things in front of you, like tzitzis and shatnez. So if you make tzitzis out of shatnez, the essay of tzitzis is doicha the losa say of shatnez. There's no
there's no two. There's no.
A Nezirus neder is a type of neder.
I understand that.
Category of a neder. The Torah already said that Baal is made for the nedorim of his wife within the first 24 hours. So why would you think that he can't be made for the Nezirus?
Because so what does the Mishnah have to say that? So what does the Mishnah have to say? Sure, certainly he can't break your neder after 24 hours. So why does the Mishnah have to tell us that? Certainly she can't do it. So maybe it's talking about in the beginning, even within the first 24 hours. That's what I thought maybe.
Noshim vadim yesh lehem Nezirus, and we go through minolon, and we went through a process. First, the Gemara was dealing with goyim.
Right.
Why the goyim are not in the parsha?
Right. That's, Vein kofes ishto.
Noshim vavadim knanim yesh.
The last thing,
like
the last sentence. I know, but the last sentence it doesn't say vein. Maybe that's the first time. Within the first 24, vein kofen es ishto. He cannot force his wife to violate her Nezirus. Who says it's after 24?
If he didn't make for it.
Yeah, but of course it is. Of course he can't. He can't make for any neder after.
But if 24 hours went by and he wasn't made for it, he can't be koi for her to get rid of the Nezirus.
So of course
he can do by Nevet Kanani. He can be koi for the Nevet Kanani to violate the Nazirus.
But what's the chiddush by the Isha that he can't do it after 24 hours? Of course he can't. We're talking about even in the first 24 hours.
So it used it. It's not a chiddush, but choimer bin noshim mi be'avodim shehu koifes avdo ve'ena koifes ishto. He cannot. That's an example where it's more stringent by noshim than it is by avodim.
So
And the Gemara will tell us later on,
right,
how avodim are more choimer than noshim.
right. I understand. I just thought that maybe it was in the first 24 hours that he couldn't do it because.
First 24 hours, he can be made for.
Okay, good. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Samech beis amid beis.
Yeah, okay.
Ihachi. So we ended up saying that it's a halacha that the halacha l'Moshe b'Sinai that the goyim cannot become nazir. So ihachi ish ki afli neder be'erkecha. It says the word ish regarding taking an erech vow, where a person points to somebody and says, I want to give his value to the Beis Hamikdash. Now, ba'archin lamali, that, because we said ish comes to include goyim. Why do I need a pasuk to include goyim here? Michtei, iskish erchin l'nadorim. The hekesh between an erech vow and a regular neder. The Amar Kra ish ki afli neder berkecha. V'atanyo gabi nedorim. It says there also ish mi beis Yisrael asher yakriv korbano l'chol nidreyam l'chol nedvason. Now why? What's this double ish? Matam alamer ish. L'rabois esagoyim shehein noidrim nedorim and nedavis Yisrael. They can take a neder to bring a korban olah or to bring a korban shlamim. Let's say korban olah, according to everybody. So we now have a hekesh between regular nedorim, where goyim can do it, and we have ish kefli neder be'erkecha. I don't need it. We already have a connection between nedorim and erech. So ish kiafli barchi lamali elahai ish maboyle is something else, nothing to do with goyim. L'sui mufla samach leish, 12-year-old boy. He's called a mufla samach leish. That if a 12-year-old boy makes a neder, it has chalois even midoraisa. Hanich l'mandam mufla samach leish doraisa. El mandam drabana. But those who say that the status of a neder made by a 12-year-old is only rabbinic, then ish kiafli lamali. L'suya mufla samach leish de goy. To include that if a mufla samach leish, who is a goy, 12 years old, makes a neder, it'll take hold. Hanich mandam bnei Yisrael nerochin, v'en hagoyim nerochin. That means, this is going according to the Manda Omer that learns that goyim cannot take an erech vow, only Jews can. Yachol yumarichin. I might think that you cannot point to a goy and use them also as a subject for an erech. Tamid lomer ish. I have a drasha ish to say no, he's included shopping. Number one, this Mandomer learns that goyim are not used as subjects. As they cannot take the vow. I might think that they can't be used as a subject of the vow. Tamid lomer ish. Afilu tinik ben chodesh bar eruchihu. Even a 1-month-old child has a certain value. So we're back to the question, kiafli lamali. What do we learn from Yafli? And we're talking about an adult, goy, gavagav the godel who and he doesn't really understand what he's doing, or he doesn't know the language. So his nadorim are not chal, you would think, but kiafli, comes to tell me that only a goy who understands, he has the capability of being mafli, can make nedarim. Fine. Ela kiyafli because Rachmana Gabi Nezirus Lamali. Why is kiyafli repeated by Nezirus? Because michte, hayiskish Nezirus nedarim. We've already made a hekesh between Nezirim and nedarim. So if I have the din of kiyafli by nedarim, I'm sure it's going to transfer over to Nezirus. So that when the Torah wrote kiyafli by Nezirus, lamali, to teach me l'suya adaim shein mochichos. We learned at the beginning of nedarim yad means you don't say koinim, you say korban. You say a different word. It's not clear what you mean. That yadayim she'ena mochichoch, if you use that phraseology, the neder will also be chal. And where do we see this issue? Ditma. Yadayim she'ena mochichos. You use like a nickname, a shortcut, for a neder. Abaya Omer having yadayim. It'll have chalois as a neder. Rav Omer lo having yadayim doesn't work. So Abaya needs the drasha yafli nicha. Ela Rav doesn't need it. Michael Amemar. We're back to square one. What do you do with yafli? Ela ki yafli meborlich Rav Tarfon. It's needed for the halacha Rav Tarfon, the time of Yudah Mishum Rav Tarfon. That if a number of people made nedarim of Nezirus with unconditional statements, very complicated, it's not clear what they said, ein echad mehem nazir. Lefi shelo nitna Nezirus el laflo. Becoming a nazir, it's got to be very clear. I'm a nazir. It can't be any confusion. That's what we learn from Aflo. Hanich Rav Tarfon. Fine. El Rabbanon, who don't agree with Rav Tarfon, who says that even if a person makes even a confusing statement and it's not clear, he becomes a Nazir, Michael Amema. Ella, the Kiyafli written by Nezirus, is Maboy Lelechadetanya. Heter Nedorim Porchim Ba'avir. Person makes a neder, goes to a Chacham to be matir. This Mandover holds, it's like flying in the air. The people who say that a chacham can be matir neder have nothing to rely on. What do you mean? Yesh lem al mashi yismachu. Shenemar ish ki afli shtei pamim. Echad aflo le'isr. One is that a person makes a statement to be a neder where something is prohibited to him. The echad aflo le'heter. And sometimes a person can be made for a neder when he goes to a chacham and he has the chacham matir the neder. Samach beis omer beis. Just like we said in the previous Mishnah, that there's an aspect of women being a nazir that's more stringent than an evet. There is a stringency by avodim more than women. Shu made for nidre ishto. A husband's allowed to annul the nedarim of his wife as long as he does it within the first 24 hours. But eino made for nidre avdo. The Torah didn't give him the power to be made for the nedarim of his wife. You can force the evet to go against his neder, but you can't be made for it. Number two, hefer liishto, hefer olamas. When a Baal annuls the neder of his wife, it's gone. Hefer la'avdoi. If they do go through a process of a forest nedarim for an eved, yotz lecheres mashlim neziruso. It's only going to be a hafara during the period of time that he's in the employ of that master. Once he goes free, he has to complete his nazirus. Tarabana. Lema rabo kofo. What kind of neder can a master force the eved to violate? That's l'nazirus, because it affects him. Avalol nedarim v'larochim. But if an eved kanani made a neder of some type, or an erech vow. So the Baal cannot be made for such nedorim or koi for him to go against it. Ma'ishna gabi nazir. Why? Why is nazir different? Dam Rachmana lesser isar al nafsho. A nazir is prohibiting on himself, but that's b'misha nafsho knuyalo. That's somebody who owns himself. Yotza evet shein nafsho knuyalo, and never doesn't own himself. So nami. So then he shouldn't. It should be a restriction for the evet to make nedorim. The evet had a bunch of grapes in front of him, and he makes a ned there. I'm not going to eat these grapes. It doesn't affect the master. He doesn't have to be made for. He doesn't have to force him to go against it, because all he's doing is restricting himself from that bunch, not from others. So therefore, lo matzi kofile. He doesn't have the right to be koife, the evet to go against his net. Gabi Nezirus. The chimitzer b'hai yitzer b'kulu. The evet becomes a nazir. He's usher in everything. Matzi kofile. For the purposes of the master, that doesn't work, because he can't. He's going to become weaker, and he's not allowed to damage himself in the employ of the master. He's the rechush of the master, so he's allowed to force him to violate it. Now, gabi nedorim, milo askin and deleke elahayeshko. But even by a neder, we could be talking that this is the only bunch of grape, and the iloyachol echolish. He could become weak, and then again, it affects the master. The master should be able to be koy for him to violate a net there as well. Rava, go and try a chartzen munach b'fan. Chartzen, it's like the branches. It's not really something that you can nourish yourself with. So gabi nador b'hayu de mitzvah lo matzi kofilei. If he took a neder not to eat this chartzen, it's only this chartzen. Other chartzonim he can eat or use. But gabi nazir the yitzur nami b'achrini matzi kofilei. So I don't understand. Gabi nador milo askin the leke elahai chartzen. The ilo achalei chalish. It also could be talking about that this is the only chartzen available. If he doesn't eat it, he will be weaker. So he should be able, just like the master can force him to violate his Nezirus, he should be able to force him any neder. Amar Abaya, lemar rabu tzarich likfoisu leNezirus. Abaya says that the master he has to say beferish that he's not maskim, that the evidence is makayim that neder, but that's only leNezirus. The ain't tzarich likfos leNedorim. Nedorim don't chal at all for the Evet Kanani. By the Nezirus, he has to say something. By Nedorim says that by doesn't have to say anything, because they have no chalois. Well, we'll see in a minute why not. And they don't tzarich likfos l'shvua. If he makes a shvua, they have no chalois. My timer. Damar kra, when you take a neder or a shvua lahara or lahiti, it's, for example, to eat a loaf of bread or not to eat a loaf of bread. Something good for you, something bad for you. And ma'atov rishus, you choose afaror rishus. Yatzalarachem shenar rishus biyodo. The Evet has no right to make it bad for himself because it's affecting the master. Because the master is losing out because the Evet is not eating that, becoming weak.
But who says that Nezirus will also not affect the master?
It is. It is.
No, so I'm saying, so why would, in other words, when it comes to he makes a neder not to eat this.
There's no chal at all. There's no chalois.
It's not chalot at all. I know, I understand. Let me finish the question. I understand that there's no chalot because that's affecting the master and he works for the master.
You want to say, why should there be a chalois by the Nezirus? It's also affecting the master.
Affecting the master. He doesn't want to see him looking like that. I mean,
good kasha.
Why would he want to see him like that? So what's the chiluk here? And I see on that they paskin, that the Rambam paskins that way on both of those. So I don't understand where that came from. That should be a man of shach.
I see the same kasha.
Okay,
Here we said that by the Nazirus, the master has to say something mufurish that he's not
Right.
maskim. But by the other ones, doesn't have to say anything because there's no chalois. And
right.
the Gemara itself explained is because right from the get-go,
Because
it's
it
a
affects.
problem. It's a lahara for the masters.
Right.
Same thing by the Nazirus. Let's
Okay,
see. Let's see. I'm looking at the Rishonim.
What does Rashi say on that?
Tosfos says that's not, Erchin is not mentioned. So the Rishonim deal with why is it different than Nazir and Nedarim? It's the same thing.
Mhm.
So Tosfos says, "Ki yesh l'Nazirus toikef meyuchad, ki ha'Nazirus chala gam al davar she'ena b'shuso shel adam, shrei gam im nishba she'yishte yayin v'nodar net Nazirus mevatelas Nazirus es hashvua." Let's say a person made a shvua to drink wine, and he makes a neder of Nazirus. It goes above the shvua, and the Nazirus mevatel the shvua. Mishum kach, I'm reading the Lashon of Tosfos. Mishum kach Nazirus chala gam b'makom she'ein la reshus lahara u'lehitiv, unless the master protests.
Yeah, but the master has complete balance on the guy.
No, but it's a different. They're saying that the neder Nazirus is higher than the shvua. The person that's taking a shvua, I'm going to drink wine, and then you obviously become a nazir.
Yeah, but the Eved has no rights. So what his rights belong
he
to
has
the
rights. His statements of Nedarim and Naziris take hold. Take hold. But Tosfos raises your point exactly.
Okay.
Mishnah. Avra mikeneged panav. So the Eved became a Nazir, but the master prevented him from being Mekayim the Naziris. Now, Avra mikeneged, if he ran away, Reb Meir Omer lo yishteh, the Naziris comes back to him. Remember, in this case, the master didn't free him. So while he's with the master didn't want to keep him doing the Naziris prohibitions. Once he runs away, and he's now sort of free again, the Naziris automatically comes back on him. Rabbi Yossi Omer Yishte. Because if he gets a get shichr and he's freed from the master, then certainly, then he would go back to the Naziris. But since he wasn't formally separated from the master, and the master has not wanted him to act as a Nazir, he's allowed to drink wine even if he ran away. Now, Lema b'dishmul kamiflagi. Let us say that Meir and Rabbi Yossi are arguing in a din of Shmuel. Damar Shmuel. Amavkir avdo. There is a process of hefker. I say, like what we're going to do to our chametz. I detach my ownership from this thing. So if a person owned an Eved and he's mafkir the Eved, yotze lecheres, ve'ein tzarach get shechur. Normally there's a formal document, just like you give a get to a wife, you give a get you give a get as well, get shechur to an Eved Kanani, so he goes free. According to Shmuel, he doesn't need a get shechur. The act of hefkeris accomplishes it. And we're going to say, Reb Meir holds of Shmuel. So if the Eved runs away, he's mischayv in his ears, like he's like hefker. And he doesn't need to get shechur. And Rabbi Yossi Leslie, because he hasn't got, just because he ran away doesn't mean he got to get shechur. So the Gemara wants to say maybe the Machlokes Rabbi and Rabbi Yossi is they're arguing this din of Shmuel. Look, Kula alma islu dishma. Everybody holds that if the master is mafkir his eved, doesn't need to get shit. So what's the machlokes here? Ella, we're talking about here the eved ran away. And the master didn't give up hope of getting him back. He's going to find him to bring him back. So he's not a ben chayrim. So what's the machlokes? Manda Amar, the one who said he can drink, meaning Rabbi Yosi, Savar, Soif Ma'ada Hadavasi Gabe. You know, the Ev is going to come back on his own accord. So, Lishtei Chamra Kiyech Lo Lichtash. So we want him to continue drinking wine. It's for the benefit of the master. He won't weaken. Ulaman Amar Lo Yishteh, Rav Meir Savar, just the opposite. We prevent him from drinking wine until he comes back. We want to incentivize him to come back to the master because he's still under the master's ownership. Okay. Stop here.
Okay, square.
Tomorrow.